All right, all right, all right. All right, all right. Oh, it looks like you're rebooting, man. If you're just going to reboot, I'll come back over there. Let me check it out. No, yeah, you're still. It seems like you're still streaming. So, hey, Freaka from God, what's happening, man? You doing all right out in Happy Land? Stream unavailable. I don't know if your stream is going to stay open or go down, Barefoot. I figured I would open this one up, take a break from washing dishes. Freaka from God, how you doing out in Happy Land tonight, man? Doing all right, amigo? I was over at a stream just now where a fellow was playing country music, and I was having a good time in the chat, alternating between chatting and washing dishes. But he got taken down. He's a pretty cool cat from out in Cincinnati, Ohio, east of the Rockies. And I wanted to ask him a few questions about streaming, because he seems to have a lot more experience than I do. He had a country Friday night up. Let's see if it's still going. This video is private. Okay, so he privated the video. Anyway, he had a good crew of folks over there in the chat. I think there was 10 or 15 folks hanging out. And I wanted to open up the chat here and invite him on to talk about stuff. And we'll see if anybody turns up. If so, that would be cool. Barefoot Sasquatch, if you're out there in Happy Land, let me know. Kayana, yeah, he got hit by the black screen again. I had his feed open on my phone, and then I popped mine open here on StreamYard on my laptop, and I was waiting to see if he was going to be able to continue his stream or not. But I don't know. Barefoot, if you're out there, let me know, man. If one of y'all good-looking, sexy people know what's happening out in Happy Land, here is the link. Yeah, I don't know exactly how that works, so I was going to ask you, like, how long, because I've never been able to, like, stream music. I can never get StreamYard to do it correctly because I'm on the free version. Like you can see, they got the StreamYard logo up there in the corner, so I've never been able to do it. But we'll wait and see if he shows up. Broadcasting to you from the central kingdom of the celestial dragon, far behind the old bamboo firewall. Frank Monday coming at you from Twilight Zone Old Peking. If it's your first time, don't let it be your last time. Hit the like and subscribe. All that happy horse shit that makes YouTube's algorithms bark like Pavlov's dog. Hope y'all good looking sexy people doing all right out in Happy Land. Yeah, you're here. Good. Barefoot, I don't know how late you were planning on staying up tonight, but if you do have a little time to get on here and talk about what was going on with your channel there, because I don't really understand like some of the jargon and some of the stuff that's going on, black screening and stuff like that. Like you were saying, I don't even know if my stream's going to be able to continue, man. It looks like my internet connection is unstable. Connection is fairly good. Try plugging into a router. Yeah, if I had a way to do that, I would do that, but I don't. Yeah, so I was interested to ask you about streaming things without getting hit, because it seems like every time, even I've done, I don't know, what is it? I think you got like a 30-second window for most things. Like you can play 20 to 30 seconds of things without them striking it, but sometimes not only will they strike it, but they'll like delete the video. So it's kind of it's like walking on thin ice with YouTube. Yeah, so I don't even think there you are. Cool, man. Hold on, give me a second. All right. Welcome to the show, Barefoot. How you doing, man? Barefoot Sasquatch in the house. Yeah, what's up, man?
Hey, there's someone else, I think Watcher from my stream is going to come up as well. So if you see her pop back there, that's who that is.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that's awesome.
So what's happening? Yeah, that was a black screen, buddy. That's what happens. It's there are some songs that I've played that will get a black screen. It's you never know what's going to happen. And, you know, like Sony, they're more particular about their copyrights and playing them. So sometimes, you know, some of the music that I have, it's been black screened. That's only happened a small amount of times where they actually black screen over a particular piece of music or something like that. I've gotten black screens a lot though for stretching it out a long time and playing like 28 or 30 songs or something like that, because each one is copyright, right? So we're really not supposed to do it, is the bottom line. So I usually talk in between every 2 songs at the minimum. And so that kind of stretches it out, and the algorithm kind of flies by and they don't pay much attention to it. But if I don't talk a lot, then like tonight, it will happen pretty quickly, hour and a half, something like that. So there's all kinds of like little things, you know. I didn't know anything about it when I first started doing it. On the channel that I was talking about that I used to be a co-host, we were having a daytime show once, and I thought I was going to be all bold and, you know, play music videos and stuff. And that stream got taken down by YouTube within like a minute. So it's, you know, you can't get away with videos usually. Okay. I mean, I've found a way to manipulate it, but you can't really get away with it.
Right. Yeah, I've experienced that. I was trying to play a couple of things one time, and it just totally gave me the shutdown. I didn't know it was called black screen. That's interesting.
Yeah.
They're saying you're the king of black screen.
Yeah, it's true. It's true, because I don't, like, number one, I don't get upset about it because my interest is not a monetized channel. So if you get copyrights on every stream, like, you won't, even if you're monetized, like you won't make money on that stream. Your monetization's turned off. So it's a whole different ball game playing copyright stuff when you're monetized.
Gotcha.
But I didn't care about that. So I didn't care about black screens, you know?
Right. Yeah, I wanted to ask you a little bit more about what you were talking about, because you got cut off like midstream when you were talking about. Is this it, Watcher of Crazy?
Yes.
I don't know. And can you see my window clearly?
Hey.
Oh, there she is.
Hey.
Yeah.
So Watcher Crazy, Frank, Watcher Crazy. She's the one from Texas, Frank.
Oh, okay.
It's nice to meet you.
Is that you, Watcher of Crazy?
It is.
Okay, nice to meet you too. Now, which show were you guys talking about? A Halloween one?
It's on my members only channel.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, okay.
Yep. So, it was kind of like a music and talk, like just banter back and forth. I don't go and watch my shows back. So, like I was telling Barefoot Sasquatch, the ass procurer, donkey farmer, that I have no idea what we even talked about that night. I have no clue. So
about everything.
Oh, sub. I got to hit the sub button.
Thank you so much. We might have we might have to do a review on that show.
Looks like you're doing pretty good. What does anything change after you hit 1,000 subs? Because they've been dangling that carrot in front of me for 10 years now, and I'm wondering if there are any changes, because I'm getting closer now.
So basically, I mean, you can, once you hit the 1,000 subs and you get the 4,000 watch hours, you can fully monetize your channel. But you can get your super stickers and stuff like that turned on, you know, at 500 subs and 3,000 watch hours. So.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Good magic. So the show that you had mentioned, Barefoot, is not actually available on this YouTube channel?
It is, but it's under, she has memberships. And so some of the shows are behind the membership wall. So you have to be a member to watch it. And I wasn't even thinking about that when I said that on my show. But yeah, it's there. It's a Halloween show behind the membership. So go sign up, buddy. Like it's good stuff.
Yeah, for sure I will. What does this
mean? Is she talking about her OnlyFans?
Oh, okay. Yeah. I was wondering what an OF is. Okay, that's OnlyFans.
No, you definitely If I did an OnlyFans, I'd have to do one where I was where it's like aimed at people who have feet fetishes, where I could step in food and mud, like do stuff with
Gnarly.
my feet. Yeah, I would do that. I would so do that.
Oh, yeah, that's funny. So, where are you hailing in from, Watcher of Crazy?
Texas,
Oh, that's right, Tejas.
indeed.
Don't mess with Texas.
Which part? Yeah, don't mess with Texas. In the
Central
Panhandle.
Texas, College Station,
Central?
Texas. Yeah, Texas A&M,
Okay.
Aggies.
Da- Dallas, right?
Yeah, that's about 3 hours for me.
Oh, is it? Okay. I had a
Uh-huh.
sister that lived in Corpus Christi for a long time, like 20 years or something.
Oh wow, yeah, that's quite a ways for me.
Is it? Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I don't know
it
much
is.
about Texas.
Yeah, it's about I would say it's probably a good 5.5 hour drive. 5.5 hours.
Wow.
So,
Yeah. Texas, big place. Like California, too. Like driving from San Diego to Sacramento takes like 10 hours or something.
yeah, I'd love to drive all the way up the West Coast. That would be
Yeah, I've done it a few times. Doing one sitting, it'll make your butt hurt pretty bad.
Oh,
I
I
can't
bet.
imagine long haul truckers.
Yeah, that's my stepdad and my ex-husband both have worked over the road driving and have seen a lot of shit, but not I. I have visited, but not like I didn't drive to California when I went. I flew, and I was only there for about 4 days, 5 days. But I've only been once, and I saw wild turkeys crossing the damn road up there. I don't even see wild turkeys in Texas. What the fuck? So,
So, Barefoot, can you share your screen?
Yes.
You can? Okay. I was just curious because anytime I try to like share something, like I'll usually for some reason like the firewall just doesn't like that, and it will knock me out usually pretty fast. I liked the way you were doing that you were playing good country music with a nice little backdrop, and then you were interluding it. Well, at least once I saw you interlude it with some stand-up comedy. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, and there's a lot of comics on YouTube, and he in particular does not care if you share his stuff. I think that they just acknowledge or realize that it's more than likely going to bring them some traffic. So if they're good, and yeah, I have about 20 of his clips actually back there in StreamYard, and because he's a funny dude, and because I can get away with it. Both of those things, there's a lot of things you can get away with under Community Commons that is there, but it sucks. So that's why I just don't mess with Community Commons unless I'm looking for something like backgrounds or something like that. But otherwise, I don't care. So I'll try it. If I get black screen, then I get black screen. It's no big deal.
Oh, okay.
And sometimes, in the past, I would just come back up. Like I would just, if I got a black screen, I would just close out the show and then just immediately start another show and do it all over again.
Yeah, so I'm curious, do you have to, like, when you share something like that, do you have to download the video first and then upload it to StreamYard, or can you just play it directly from the website?
So it depends on the website, really. But YouTube, you can... I don't know. Like I've never done it where I brought up, like I've brought up YouTube and played something like a news clip or something like that, but I've never used it as a means to play my music. So I go to YouTube, I download the song into an app, and then it separates the video from the audio, and then I upload the audio into StreamYard. So it's a few step process. It sounds probably more complicated than it actually is.
No. I've done that way too. That's the only way I've really had success in like putting things into a stream is by doing it that way.
Yeah, and if you the share screen, there's a lot of websites and things like Netflix if you want to do something like that, or I toyed with all kinds of different things like Amazon Music and Spotify and all that kind of stuff because I thought, wow, how great would it be? I wouldn't have to upload music and I could just put Spotify on the screen and play what I want from my playlist. And it will come up on the screen as far as the screen share, but there will be no audio. So a lot of outside platforms outside of YouTube, they won't play the audio.
Right.
So I stick with YouTube. I use YouTube for about everything I do.
Yeah. I've experienced that too. So because I was trying to figure it out. I thought that, chilling on a weekend night or something and just going through a music playlist and then being a disc jockey in the background and commenting. You said you have to do it between every 2 songs. I thought that would be fun to do. And it's a good way to have a live stream going where it doesn't require 100% of your focus all the time.
That's right.
That's one of the things that's daunting about I've seen these people who stream 10 to 12 hours a day, which I'm obviously never going to be able to do because I work a full-time job. But I thought on the weekends when I'm chilling and I've got free time and I do like to stream and connect with people, I thought that would be a fun way to do it. But it does seem like there's some challenges with it as well.
Yeah, I mean, I've done it for 2 years, kind of on and off, and so I have 2,000 probably songs that I now have on an external hard drive. So when I do a show, I'll usually download a couple new ones, but then I just kind of reach into that, that library kind of that I already have, because it's also having a feel for the people that listen to me. And I know a lot of them. And so I kind of know what they like and don't like and, and things like that. So I just stick with what I know. So it can seem like it's, overwhelming, but it's definitely worth it because of what you said. If you just want to chill out and have a stream and, have to do not so much talking or entertain people for 2 hours straight by yourself, talking, that's difficult. Very, very difficult.
Yeah.
So Watcher of Crazy, do you do some of that on your channel as well? Or do you do some interviews and stuff where you got a variety, an eclectic variety of things you got going on?
So I've done a few different things. I've done some music shows. I used to do kind of a Sunday morning inspiration thing. Right now I'm heavy into doing commentary on people's bullshit. Yeah, I've done actually Barefoot helped me with an IRL. I went to the border here in Texas and it was, kind of at one of the last pinnacles of the whole fiasco down there before we started heading into this stretch. But anyways, nonetheless, let me not get off.
She's talking about immigration and the border wall and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
So we did that show. And then now that I have the members only channel, I'm going to start doing some interviews. I have a huge fun interview coming up Tuesday morning. And then, I've done some, I've done a few panels, mostly sometimes it's hard to get people to want to come up on panel with you, and it's difficult to sit up and just to chat for 2 hours, especially if you don't have people that are actively chatting, because you're always going to lag a little bit behind, it seems like. And so...
Right. Yeah, they seem to be two distinctly different things. Broadcasting with content is one way, and then chatting with folks. And I've always had more fun, like you're saying, with the feedback loop, getting feedback from people and interacting with them live. I think that's a lot more interesting.
Right. And, with my commentary that I do on people's bullshit, sometimes it's difficult to do it live because you're trying to pay attention to what you're doing their commentary on while reading chat and trying to make bullet points to remember to tie it all together. So I also have started playing with pre-recording my commentary and then going live and playing the pre-recorded video of the commentary. That way I can pause that and talk back to chat instead of, doing it while I'm giving the commentary, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. And when you get into any kind of post-production, that's really what eats up the hours. I'm sure Barefoot, you don't have, like, you said that you were doing a cooperative thing with a guy in the past.
Right.
And can you tell me a little more about that?
It was a true crime channel. Well, I don't think we like to call it that, but we were covering a case about this young man out west that went missing and subsequently has been found not alive, and and the guy who did it in jail. So, but that's the guy that I used to be a co-host for. He lives where this happened, and which is Intuitive's husband, the lady in chat, and so being that he was a close anyway. So yeah, I could go on and on about that, but it was that, and we would have a lot of shows and just explore facts, non-factual stuff, just a typical true crime case. We never believed that we would solve the case, but it was a really fascinating case. So there was just lots to talk about, lots to dig through, things like that. And being that he was in close proximity, he would go out there, and he knew people out there. So we had this unusual circumstance where we were boots on the ground with this case. So most people cover these cases from a great distance, and that most of them will never visit the city where the person went missing or was murdered or something like that. So that was the difference between our channel and the others, or most of the others.
Right. It sounds almost like a missing 911 thing, but you guys only focused on the one case.
Yeah, we definitely covered that one case 99% of the time. He didn't cover a different case, unless I'm mistaken, till probably the spring of the following year.
Hey, I'll be right back. Sorry.
Okay.
Okay. Now, is that channel still available on YouTube or no?
No. It's not available.
Okay, cool. Because I was curious. Hey, Mon Cherie's in the chat. Mon Cherie Analani, good to see you. Welcome to the chat. Yeah. So that's a good angle. Again, you guys were doing it to bring light to the case, and because you had someone in the immediate area, was that your central? And you said that it had some interesting factors around it.
Yeah. I mean, the case stretched out for a long time. His body wasn't found for a long time. So, and until those things happen, until there's an arrest and, the investigation continues on, you don't really find out like most of the facts. They just released a few months back the evidence from the case online, because they had so many FOIA requests because of the YouTube interest, because it was us and it was, a few other channels that covered it. So, there was a lot of interest. There was definitely a lot of sort of YouTube public interest in the case.
Okay, very cool. Yeah, it's not up anymore. I'd like to have gone back and checked it out. Now, a lot of these folks in the chat have come over from your country music live stream, and right. You said that you met most of them through that project, or through
that's another one. Yeah, that's right. All of them through that. All of them.
Oh, okay, awesome. Well, yeah. It sounded like one of them was a little closer to you, like actually went to church with you. And I didn't ever get the background on that. Like, was she suffering from like a mad spaz of Tourette's, or what happened in that particular situation?
No. That's intuitive though. She's in chat. We weren't. I was kind of being a smartass by saying that we were in church one day, and she started cussing because she's the wife of the guy that I was co-host with, and he was my friend as well. So we would talk, like, or he is my friend. So we would talk, a lot, like during the day while he was at his real job. And we'd talk about, everything, life and the case and all kinds of stuff in our show, and I would oftentimes, like, she would be there, like, and with him. And I had never heard her cuss or talk, it be mean or anything like that. And we're talking for a year and a half, maybe. And then, like, so they got harassed, and still are actually, by, quite a few people on YouTube. And she was just fed up. So one day, like, they were having a show, and she's this co-host now, and so they were up on panel, and, and they were talking about some of the things they've been going through. And she just blurts out with, like, motherfucker and cocksucker. Sorry if that offends you, Frank, but she just came out with this, like, and I was like, oh my God, like, I've never heard her talk like that before. Like, so I started texting her at the same time, like, oh my God, I can't believe you just said that. So yeah, so that's the story. No, we weren't in church. I was just kind of, like, exaggerating it just to be funny, like, during my stream. It was actually on a live show that she broke out with that. And I was watching the show, so yeah.
Well, yeah. When you said in church, like, the mental image that popped up, I was like, oh my God, what did the preacher say? Yeah, what did the preacher say? What fucking initiated that? What prompted her to go bananas in church? Because that's a very funny scene to picture. So yeah,
right. That would be even funnier for sure.
Yeah, I was getting some internal viddies about that. So cool. And you said that she co-hosts a show with her husband, and they still have a channel active now?
Well, I don't think his channel is active right now. But yeah, she's in general, like, they also have a Rumble channel. And so she's his co-host.
Yeah. So Intuitive, if you care to, post the link to your Rumble channel, and if you guys are still doing YouTube, that would be awesome to see. I love to share links, and it's one of the main things I do for YouTube is, like, to figure out what's going on, what are cool channels to look at, and, like, how to share and learn with other people and stuff. And one thing I wanted to ask you about, like, you touched on it. You said that here on YouTube, like, they were getting a lot of negative blowback from some of Team Evil, as I call them. I don't know if you've had encounters with the Insanity Machine and Queen Stefan, but you may have seen some of the interactions here. And I was like, that was something I only discovered when I got on a couple of panel chats, that there are some, like, super toxic people here that will just attack you for no reason. What's up with that? Do you know any of the background on, like, what's going on with those minions of Team Evil?
Oh, dude, that's the first time I've heard of it. I have no idea.
Oh, okay. So it's specifically with her situation, it's just haters gonna hate, that kind of thing? Or?
Yeah, I mean, with every channel, every community, I skip through live, how if you're on YouTube and, at the top, it gives you the options of, like, shorts, documentary, live streams. And so I'll click on the live stream, and, and I'll look at these channels that are live. And, I mean, it just, several nights ago, I ran into a lady. It was like, I swear to God, she seemed like she was like 85 having a live stream at like 3:00 in the morning. And, but what I've noticed about going to all these live streams, including hers, was that there's some kind of drama going on. I didn't understand it because I don't know the people, but you could tell by the chat that, there was drama going on. So I think in every community that happens, and, and some people in particular, aren't liked because of their ideas or their opinions or, telling the truth. And so it kind of becomes, chaotic. And then you have channels that will, the bigger you get, they want to compete. Right. So that, like, it's all these layers of stuff that comes with doing, I think probably any kind of stream, once you get a significantly higher number of subs, and because it's just bringing a lot more things into it. And then you share people with other channels, and so it kind of becomes this interwoven kind of situation.
What would you say is the threshold? Because like back in the early days, I thought that there was probably some like I don't know what they call it, like an event horizon where that would occur. But I've had like YouTube strike me when I only had like 30 or 40 subs, and I would do a video that they didn't like they still striked me in the early days. But then later on, like as I connected with the panel chats, I noticed that it seems like maybe it's the 1,000. What do you think the threshold is, like when that really starts to get to happen?
Well, you mean with YouTube or with just the people like us that are on YouTube? I mean, those are two very different things. I mean, YouTube's, they like censorship.
Okay, yeah, you're right. Those are two different.
But
very different
when
things.
we're talking about the
question
dynamics between channels or people or things like that, that's very common. Like it goes on everywhere. But it's basically, if they see you as an insignificant channel because you have small numbers, basically the bottom line is you're not taking their money if you have a little channel. So you're not extracting or taking money from larger channels if you don't have a channel basically that can compete. So they don't worry about you until you get higher, you get monetized. If your channel's like taking off and you're gaining subs on a regular basis, other channels start feeling threatened by that. So
more like when you're in their ballpark and maybe doing something similar to them. So like,
oh yes, exactly.
If you're in the 1,500 club, say for example, and so people in the 1,500 club will pay attention to you if you're touring through their site and then getting subs and stuff like that. And you're right, there does seem to be many layers. I'm trying to get an easy answer, but I don't think there is an easy answer to anything really. But
there really isn't when it comes to this. There really isn't when it comes to this. It's, everything has like different levels of whatever, and just different things that factor in, so I mean, it's just not something as simple as the numbers. It's the people you're more likely to compete with if someone is talking about either the same kind of things you're talking about or the same thing in something like true crime. So if you're talking about the same case, then people are competitive with each other. So
okay, that makes sense. Yeah, and I was listening to one guy who seems like a pretty popular YouTuber. He's got about 14,000 subs, so it's not a lot, right? It's like in the lower echelons. But he said one thing, like, and again, it depends on what you're in it for, right? Like I'm here for fellowship and friendship and like investigating the paranormal and talking about magic and stuff like that. So that may be a very different, and to some extent a different ball game than a lot of people out there and I've noticed too, and I wanted to mention this earlier and I forgot, but there seems to be like a Jerry Springer effect. So when you do get involved with some of these characters and get into their social circles, like part of the equation seems to be getting involved in the drama, causing the drama, and letting the drama play out on your channel is what a lot of the viewers are interested in seeing. Have you noticed that?
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely. It's not something honestly like I talk about a lot. Because even that causes drama, but it's you're exactly right about that, man. Like, there is a lot of it in the Jerry Springer effect. Like I like that because that's absolutely true. It's and the dynamics get crazy because you have all these personalities, and it's online. So it's not even in real life, and so that enables more bad behavior. So it just spins out. I would say, I sound cynical to say this, but I don't think it's possible to do. And I mean, I have done this since I stopped with the true crime. I've done music shows, so like what I did tonight. And as hard as you try to not have drama, sometimes it will find its way in there. And and you have to just say like, yeah, no, but that's not a popular thing to do. You can really piss some people off if you don't allow it to happen. And you're right about the viewers. I mean, the guy I worked with a couple years ago, we had this conversation a lot during the time of our show, which was that, clearly drama is like where it's at. If you're wanting to have a YouTube career or whatever, like in my opinion, it's a necessary component. And because as much as people will tell you they don't like drama and all those kind of things, I know that if I do a music show, I can have, let's say, 35 people watching, right? Because you won't get like high numbers with a music show. So, let's just say I have 35 people watching, and then some adjacent channel, that's in the same sector or community or whatnot, goes on, and that channel happens to be a drama channel, or a channel does a lot of drama. Then even though the people that they'll still, like, you'll see your numbers drop on a show like mine. And I've seen it drop to like 5 or 6, and it's because that's what they do. They want to see the drama. They like seeing the fighting, and I don't know why. It's something I've thought about for 3 years. It's not for me. Right. So that's why I just kind of stay in my little cubby hole when it comes to all the.
And again, it speaks to like why you're doing it. Like you're doing it for your own purpose and what you derive from it and the satisfaction and so on. But I wanted to talk about 2 things in reference to that. Well, not one is off topic, but it's a question that my Sherry asked here. She says, don't the strikes explain why you get them? And I would answer this from my experience. No, not always. Sometimes they'll take down a video. They won't even tell you why or tell you anything about it. Other times they will put like an indicator in there as to why you got struck or why the video is being removed. So it's hit or miss on that, my Sherry. What do you think about that, Barefoot? Have you had the same experience?
Well, if they tell you nothing, it's definitely YouTube itself striking your video, and they're not very friendly about it. And you can appeal it sometimes and sometimes not. You'll never win when it's YouTube that strikes you itself. And then you have the strikes that can come from other people. Like, so if you play some of my show tomorrow, I can technically strike you if you don't fall within fair use, which means that every 30 seconds you have to stop my video and give commentary. So with doing that, I can't give you a strike. But if you just brought up my show and played it for 2 hours or something like that, then technically, like, I could come tomorrow and strike you for it. If that's the case, then you'll definitely know that it was me that struck you and why I struck you. So there's right. A couple of different ways of sort of,
and there's also like people flagging your videos for different reasons. That's when you get like attacks from people.
No, I mean, for me, no. Like, I don't really get attacks from people about my shows. The most that happens is I get a copyright claim. And so what happens, and that's not a strike. That's confused a lot. And a lot of channels won't play music because they think that's what will happen, that they'll get a strike. It's not a strike.
Okay.
It's just a copyright notice. So
right.
Probably in my email right now, I have an email from YouTube telling me about all the songs that I played being copyright. And so occasionally there will be a song that they will want me to remove, or my video will be down until it's gone or I delete it. So
will they give you the option to take it out in the editor so you can like actually remove it and keep your video?
Yeah, so that's what on it happens very rarely actually. But it does happen. And when that happens, it kind of sucks, because one of the things that happens, I don't know if you know this, like when you edit in that editing bay on YouTube Studio, once you edit your live stream, the chat never reappears. So right. Because of a timing difference, and it's 2 components, and they would have to go in and cut chat the same as they're cutting that part of the video out. So, and they don't do that. So that's a negative, because you want your chat there, because a lot of people they want to read that chat and on replay, and especially if you're interactive from the panel, because oftentimes the panel will react to the chat or react to something that people say in the chat. So you want the chat to be there so you can see it. So
right, and that and comments does drive a lot of engagement. Like I noticed the more popular YouTubers that I watch, and for some of their videos, like if it's a clickbaity title or something and I'm just clicking on it to see what they got going on, maybe it's a 40-minute video, I only watch a couple minutes of it, but then I'll get in and read the extensive log of the comment section.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's part of it, and and oftentimes it's part of the drama, a big part of it. Like oftentimes chat is what's driving that drama.
Right. And I wanted to scoop back around to the drama, because you said you pondered it for a while. And I don't know if you're familiar with Paul Sheely and the Learning Strategies Corporation out of Minneapolis, Minnesota. Have you ever heard of that?
No.
Okay.
Never have.
He I'll tell you a little bit about it. He did a whole program, like a download that was huge. I got it way back in the early days of the internet. I don't know, I was like in my mid 20s or something. So we're thinking like Kazaa or Azerius or one of those other platforms you may be familiar with, Napster, that would allow you to download big packages of material. Right. Anyway, it was several gigabytes. And it was an audio program for linguistic mastery. Let me see. Okay, yeah. So it was called The Genius Code. And in it had just tons and tons of material, like endless amounts of lessons and booklets and stuff. And it was for like rewiring your brain and becoming a better learner and stuff. Again, his whole company was called The Learning Strategies Corporation. And I remember specifically because it was so well encoded. They were using NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, in order to teach you learning techniques. Anyway, in this, I'll get to the meat of the thing. He said that the most activating thing, according to neuroscience and research they had done, and research that was available at the time, I don't remember all of the details, but anyway, gossip was number one for lighting up the human brain. And he explained it in a scientific manner. He said that, like, because you have to make so many calculations when you start engaging in gossip. You have to think about what you're saying about whoever, and whoever you're talking to or is listening to. You have to think about what's their reaction to it. Do they know? Are you being deceitful? Like, anyway, they went into great depth about how scientifically they had analyzed it, but literally they did EKG scans or whatever of the brains of people when they engage in gossip, and it fires up both hemispheres of the brain, front and back, all the lobes. Everything becomes extremely active when you start to gossip. And so it's the most rewarding type of intellectual thinking that the human being can do. And supposedly, according to the research, only human beings can do it. And so people may say, hey, I don't like gossip. And I've talked about the Jerry Springer effect or whatever, but we get a launch of endorphins that's like heroin level or opium level, I guess, from what they say. So,
well, yeah. So is it like a physiological flaw or something, or is it something that, evolved, in humans? I mean, because think about how sad that is, that's the number one. Yeah. I mean, how did that happen?
It's a state of high level nirvana enlightenment for some reason. I don't know. He got into details, like he did explain it, like in a very thorough manner. And I listened to it several times, but I can't remember because this was all like 30 years ago. But I always carried that with me. I always remembered that, hey, if you want to really stimulate people and get them actively engaged and like feeling that visceral, tactile involvement in what's going on, just start gossiping, and they just immediately light up like a Christmas tree.
Wow.
So anyway, funny to think about. I might go back in later at some point and re-listen to some of those programs, but they were on some of my older hard drives, which just like were the old school hard drives that just don't function anymore. I think it was, like the ones that only held 500 megabytes or something.
Right.
But the good programs, to be sure. And I'm not sure if there are any, is there any software like that? I mean, other than the Pirate Bay, which is now kind of shut down, right, and defunct. Is there anything else going around where we can get like high quality audio programs like that? Because I downloaded a ton of stuff. Like, did you ever hear of TLC, the Learning Company?
No.
Okay, the Learning Company. They were like, they did huge lectures at collegiate level, like from different universities, Harvard, Yale, Pepperdine, all these kinds of places, and they packaged them together in like 80 units or something, like an entire year's worth of collegiate learning at the college level, and made them available. And they did it before, like the most recent one that was really popular on the internet was the Master Class series or something like that. Do you remember that?
Yeah. I think you're right.
So this was
Master Class.
This was all in audio format. It was probably a decade or two before like the Master's Class. So it was the type of thing like because I was in college in the 90s. So it was like around that time.
So tell me about the 700 things you deleted.
Oh, you want to talk about that? That's a funny one. So when was it? All right. Uh, I noticed a pattern emerging. It was right after. So I didn't really. I think my YouTube thing I started in 2017, maybe towards the end of 2017. Not 100% with all the dates, but anyway, I had been YouTubing for a little while and not making a lot of videos, but I tried to make all of my videos like fairly high production value because I was working with a film team actually here in Beijing. And I had just transferred over from Funny or Die because I was doing stand-up comedy for like 5 or 6 years. And I was doing an improv class and I was doing my swing dance class and stuff like that. So I thought it would be a cool platform to do that. And I had noticed that during the 2016 run, presidential run, like during that epoch, they had taken a lot of things off the internet that were user created, like websites like Funny or Die, which was started by Will Ferrell. It kicked everyone off that made like user created content. And I felt like YouTube was giving strikes and stuff if you talked about anything political at all, even if your views lined up with theirs, if you were a smaller creator, which seemed very unusual to me and extremely toxic. And so what's the point of this? Oh, I thought that ultimately the way the internet was going is that nobody would be able to make user created content anymore. And so I thought YouTube was going to start doing this. And it was during the 2020 run that I was a little more voicerous, however to say that word. I opined a little more. I was a little more opinionated on political things. And because I had felt like we were so quiet during like the 2016, and no matter which way your views go, but I'm conservative and I kept my views so quiet during that transition, and everyone else was so like just in your face. And it seemed like the extremely vocal minority was winning a lot of ground on the internet because conservatives are just chill, like you'll work a full-time job and then just get on the internet for fun and stuff. And it seemed like it's their full-time job to spread liberal ideals, which is neither here nor there. It's not right or wrong. It just depends. It just seemed like the direction it was going.
You're absolutely right. They're louder. It's that simple.
Yeah. So again, in 2020, like I got a little more opinionated and I gathered a lot of data and I made some pretty decent videos that, kind of exposed the whole bullshit that had occurred and went down like by the hour. I think I was live streaming on the night of like a November 4th, 5th, 11th, 6th or whatever. And it just seemed like bringing light to it and exposing what had happened at that time, like how we went from like we were over 300 electoral votes, and then suddenly, oh, it's a tight race, it's a close race, and then suddenly we woke up in the morning and the other guy was over 300 or whatever, and we had dropped back down to like 270, and so I got striked. And I got striked multiple times, and like they had put me on the edge, really a threatening type thing. Like, here's your first strike, here's your second strike, one more, and all your work's gone. And I checked my video count at that time, and I was around like what I am now, like around 1,500 videos. And so I was drinking, and I was pretty pissed. And I had a couple of weeks to cool off. And I think your second strike is like a month or something like that.
Yeah.
And so I went back in, and during that month, like the first night I tried to do it all in one night, and I clicked and flagged 1,000 videos. I totally remember it, that I was just deleting. I wasn't setting them to private. I wasn't setting them to unlisted. I just clicked delete. And I noticed that it took me about 12 hours solid of working on it to get all these videos in the studio, clicked and deleted. And they didn't let me do it. Like they shut me down. They blocked me out of my channel. I had to get back in. They said that there was strange activity happening on my channel. And I'm like, yeah, it's not that strange. I'm deleting everything that you guys might think is questionable. And they wouldn't, they don't coordinate with you. They won't answer emails, stuff like this. So at the end, after I deleted I think 1,200 videos and only tried to leave up content that I thought was like unassailable, something that wouldn't get me in trouble, I went back in and it said like after 2 or 3 weeks or something, it finally registered, and it only reflected that I was able to delete about 700, even though it was over 1,000 that I had tried to delete. So, wow. And then I got back looking through my channel, and a lot of the backlog stuff, like way in the older parts of your channel, have already, for me specifically, I don't know if this is true with everyone, but have already been reduced from 720p to 360p. They're only available in 360p now. And I might have lost you.
No, I'm here. I'm here.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So that was basically it. Like I just tried to do like some house cleaning, but now I'm up again to like, I don't know, like 1,500 or 1,600 videos again.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah.
That's
So that was
a lot.
basically the meat of it. Yeah. I would be at like 3,000. Yeah. I'm 1,500.
Oh my gosh, like I wouldn't be anywhere near that one way or the other. But when I the channel that I had when I left the show that I was a co-host on, I was fortunate because of that show that my channel, like, I was like at 400 after like a week or something like that. But I got an attitude, like, I think it was like a month or two later, and, and I'd done shows and all that kind of stuff, but I got kind of an attitude and about like the bullshit that was going on, and just thought, screw this, I don't want to do this anymore. So I deleted my channel. I didn't know that you could hide a channel at the time. So I deleted my channel, and just thinking that it could come back, and it never came back.
Before you go too far, or to scoop back around it later before I forget, how do you shadow your channel? How do you hide it? What's up with that?
Well, when you go into your Google settings, so you go through your settings through YouTube, basically it take you to Google settings, and it gives you an opportunity. Like, you can either delete your channel, or you can just hide it. And so, and it hides it. So what that does is, like, all the comments you've made everywhere, things like that, they are deleted, unfortunately. But when you unhide your channel, because you know how, like, if you have a channel, well, let's just say you go on YouTube, the new person, they go on YouTube and they see, Frank Monday's on, and they want to chat. So then they have to create a channel in order to chat. So so everybody kind of has a channel, one way or the other, whether they stream from it or not, but you don't lose.
Right.
So what'll happen is you hide it, and then the way to bring it back out of hiding is to just go and chat somewhere. And, and it'll ask you, like, do you want to create a channel? And then you say yes, and then your channel reloads into there in about 24 or 48 hours. So,
okay,
and your subs will still be there. Like, things like, for example, on your channel, like if you have shows or whatever, you have mods, your mods will still be the same mods unless they've left YouTube. And so your videos will all still be there. Your subs will still be there. And it's just plain and simply, like, makes it out of sight for everyone else. So,
okay.
So I didn't choose to do that. So I lost everything. But my everything was not even 700. So, but it's still like, the big thing was with the subs, like, you have to start over with the subs, and it's not easy, like, every single time. And by that time, when I decided I wanted to do it again, it was several months out. And, there's a lot of people come and go, a lot of people like or dislike you differently at that time. Like, I don't know, there's probably a whole bunch of factors, but it's just more difficult you can't jump back in where you started with the sub, or where you ended with the subs. So that's why hiding it, if you're not sure, if you're not 100% in your heart and your soul sure that you want your channel gone, like, definitely hide it, because the feeling when you think that you're going to be able to bring it back and it doesn't come back, it's just like, oh, what did I do?
Right. To bring it back around to that, like, if you had known about that option, would you have just hidden your channel?
Oh yeah, man. Absolutely. I would have just hit it.
Okay. Yeah, because I had contemplated the same thing that night when I deleted like the 1,000 videos or whatever. I thought, fuck YouTube. And I'll tell you the reason why I went down that line of thinking. It's because of all the horse shit they were giving me. And it's like, it's so unfair. They treat a certain group of people one way, and then they treat us another way. Like, our conservative views aren't welcome anywhere, And I've even experienced this on Rumble. I tried to do a Rumble for a couple of months, and they struck things too. Like, they're not totally open platform. And it's like, it's so weird to me because, like, they do it here in China too. Like, China's really, really big on censorship, but like, sometimes it seems like they're trying to control narratives in such an arbitrary fashion. It's like there's no rhyme or reason to it. It wasn't foul language. I wasn't saying anything illicit. And it's like, I was just pointing out things that I saw to be facts, and then leading some of the streams back in a direction that would ultimately, I felt, lead towards some kind of truth. And then that's sometimes stuff they don't like. And I got a little bit lost in where I was going with that because I was trying to think of two things at the same time. So yeah. Oh, the main point of that is that's why my production value nearly dropped to zero. And I thought I'll just do live stream and I'll just hang out with people. I'll try to socialize. I'll start doing interviews. I do the 100-day challenge. And my tendency now is just to avoid anything political and anything that would be deemed as like, what's the word? Wrong think. I try to avoid wrong think topics. That's why I've embraced like magic and the occult and stuff like this to a greater extent because it's something I really love and enjoy. And I'll start doing the swing dance again once I start teaching my class again. But other than that, yeah. So in the beginning, like my first few years, all of my videos, I did a lot of post-production editing on and tried to put in stuff and was working with a film team. And we did the Challenger series. Like you saw that Kung Fu one I did.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah. And in that series, we actually did 12 of those. And I was working with Troy Sanford. I met him here at a Kung Fu school and we were working together. And we want to do a lot of fun stuff like that. He's blown up on Instagram. Like he does Kung Fu stuff on Instagram. And so his Instagram has like 40,000 followers now or something. His YouTube also has like 10, 15, maybe 20,000 followers. But he doesn't do anything on YouTube anymore, which I find a little bit interesting. But I guess he feels like it's not profitable enough of a platform for him. But yeah,
Dude,
I just
your facial expressions and facial movements during that when you were getting your ass kicked was really cool.
Yeah, that was pretty fun.
It was good stuff, and it was well done, man. Like I was like, holy crap! Like this is like the real deal. This is good stuff.
I actually enjoyed working on the other videos a lot more. That's the only video on that series that I'm in. But we did one. I was production manager for the series, and we did one at the Shaolin Temple, and we were the only foreign film team to ever be allowed into the Shaolin Temple here in China to shoot a video of that nature. And that one we did, I'm really proud of. Like its production value is very high quality. It's not me though. I'm not in the video. I think I'm in some like B-roll at the end or whatever. But Troy Sanford fights like their top fighter at the Shaolin Temple. And it's a really beautiful work of art.
You'll have to check it out. I didn't see that one.
No, it's not on my channel. It's on his channel.
Oh, okay.
But he's in on my page, you can find his channel in the channels that I love.
Okay.
Yeah. I think there's a couple on there I need to remember. But another guy that's actual people from my life, another guy that's on there is Steve Cotter. And I don't know if you know him or not, but he's he's like the kettlebell champion of the world. I don't know if you're like in this physicality or sports or any of that kind of thing much.
What is the kettlebell? I have no idea what that is.
Kettlebells are those like weight that's like a ball with a little handle on it.
Yeah.
Like a form of weightlifting?
Yeah.
You familiar with it?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about now.
Okay. So he and the story behind me and him, I did a lot of Kung Fu when I was a kid. And when I was a teenager, me and my brother went to a Kung Fu school that's Chinese internal martial arts. And the guy that has the channel, it's on my channels I love anyway, but his name's Steve Cotter. And he was like one of our top instructors at that school. He was in his mid-20s back then, and we were teenagers. But him and William Revact and another guy, I forget, John Cotter and a couple of other people. There was the guy who started that school is from Taiwan, but he had all young like Caucasian guys, teaching and stuff as the top thumb students because they had been there like 10 years or whatever when we showed up. But he trained my brother. My brother did Golden Gloves boxing when he was young, so like he was a good fighter. He's 6'2", 200 pounds, and could hit really hard. But point of the story being, we had a full contact class where we do full contact Kung Fu fighting, to learn how to this was prior to UFC. So we were doing mixed martial arts prior to there really being like a mixed martial arts scene. And anyway, long story short, Steve went on to form like a kettlebell empire and became like the world's most renowned kettlebell trainer. And he's still really active, like doing his he does physical therapy and he does kettlebell training and he does seminars around the world. And he's actually been over here to Beijing a couple of times to do big seminars and stuff like that. I never got into the kettlebell. I don't really understand it. I watch his videos. I love him. He's from my childhood or whatever. But I stuck with the Kung Fu. I think I'm the only one out of everyone that attended our school that still does Kung Fu daily, like this long into the future. Like everyone else kind of gave up and started doing other things. But Steve still does it. Like, yeah.
You done it the whole time since you were a teenager? Because you started at like what did you say, like 10 or 14 or something like that?
No, like even younger than that. My first like martial arts class, I was like 4 or 5, and I went to a karate class. And it's funny too, because the girl, like everyone that I've trained with has either become famous or at some point was famous in their career. So the gal who did our karate class became like the world's most famous karate teacher for a female. And so that was my first class, like 4 or 5 years old. And I learned like Wataru. And then like, because I had a brother that's approximately 2 years older than me, and he was more of the motivating factor. He was more into it than I was, but he would always drag me along and make me do everything that he did. Because like our parents are like, you can't go do it alone. Take your little brother with you. So because of him, I learned Kung Fu and surfing and a bunch of like bike riding, mountain biking, a bunch of other stuff that I just wouldn't do because physically I was weaker than him and couldn't keep up. But he would always drag me along and make me do these things. Yeah, so 4 or 5 years old, we started doing karate. And then we went into Kempo karate. Then we did Fred Villari's Kung Fu studio. I don't know if you know about that, but that's a real famous one in LA. And then from there, when we moved to San Diego, we went into the Chinese martial arts and found an internal Chinese martial arts school. And so, yeah, it stuck with me better than anyone else, maybe because I never really wanted to do it. And it just became such like a life pattern of doing it every day that it's became something that I embraced. But again, my drive was never to become a great fighter, which is why my brother would take me there. He's like, you're the runt of the litter. You're always getting your ass kicked. You have to learn how to fight. You have to train. And so he would force me to train. And having done that through my teenage years, it just stuck with me. It just, it's once you've done, they say once you've done 10,000 repetitions of a certain movement, then it becomes Kung Fu. Like doing it once doesn't count. So I did the calculation. If you do it once a day for 10,000 days, it would take you 30 years to master a certain form or movement. And so I figured out that if I did it 3 times a day, I could do it in a third of the time and I could become a Kung Fu master in 10 years. And so I sought out, when I came to China, I sought out to really refine my Kung Fu. And I spent a good 10 years doing my forms and my other exercises and stuff multiple times every day to make sure that I was, going to achieve some level of mastery.
Are you still there?
Oh, okay,
you hit the ball.
Yeah, I'm here. I was seeing if you were going to respond.
I see your
looks like some people
moving, but I can't hear you.
Oh, okay. You can't hear me, really? Wow. Am I breaking up? Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Give me a second. Oh no! Did my sound cut out? What a bummer.
I don't know if you can hear me. I don't know if it's me or you.
All right. So how was the sound on that last part? Is anybody still here? Mon Chéri, Barefoot. It sounds like for him, I lost audio. Star K, you still here? Intuitive K, Mayor. Anybody out there in Happy Land? Give me the 5s if you can hear me. All right. That was a great live. Yeah, I was gonna try to come back in, but it looks like Barefoot dipped out too. Good fun though. Yeah, thanks for stopping by, everyone. If it was your first time, don't let it be your last time. Let me give a shout out to everyone. Star, thanks for stopping by. Mayor, thank you for stopping by, everyone. Intuitive K, interesting to learn a little bit about your story. That was certainly good fun. If you are still out there, Barefoot, we could continue the conversation. I don't know. Give me fives if I'm still transmitting clearly. Hello, hello, hello. Hello, hello, hello. Good to see Free Gift from God in the chat. Good to see you, amigo. Hope you're doing well. Intuitive K, I said hello to. Mayor, Star. The other one, Watcher of Craziness. Shit Show, good to see you, Shit Show. Hello to everyone. Watcher of Crazy, ladies and Free Gift. Hit the like and subscribe. Yeah, thank you for that. Again, Shit Show. Are we still transmitting? Mon Sherry, My Sherry Analani. I love that name. I think I should just call you Sherry though, right? Sherry. So if I don't know if we're actually still transmitting any sound or not, so let me check the feedback loop here on the YouTubes, and let me post it here real quick. Yeah, so can you guys still hear me? Yes? No? Maybe so? I'll do a channel announcement then. I am your Grand Wizard of the Esoteric Order of Dagon, your friend and well-wisher, Frank Monday, inviting you to join the 100-Day Challenge Pathways of Magic, which is 100 consecutive days of focusing on a single isolate of an area of inquiry. So, for example, in this 100-Day Challenge, what I'm focusing on is magic. So magic is the art and science of causing change to occur in conformity to one's will. Make sure you guys hit the YouTube algobots. Yeah. Yeah, it sounds like my feedback loop is still working, so I'm not exactly sure what happened there. Comment section, I do see someone coming back in. Mayor says yes. Hi, Mayor. So you guys still can hear me, I think. Really fun having Barefoot on. I'd like to pick his brain a little further if I can. If you're still out there, Barefoot, you can come on back and we can finish up where our conversation left off. Yeah, so Kung Fu is just, it's something I've been doing since I was a kid. And again, I was really kind of forced into it by my brother. God rest his soul. But but I'm the only one out of all the schools that I've had contact with in the past up to today that's still a practitioner. Most people kind of deviated away from it, and it didn't become a life habit of theirs. Yeah, so fun times. Well, the only reason I came on tonight, guys, was to have a chat with Barefoot and possibly some of you. If you're out there in Happy Land, I would appreciate the sub. That certainly does help out the channel. So if you do like the content or would like to learn more about me and my adventures here in China, definitely help me reach 1,000 subs. Sum a friend, share a video, secretly sub your grandma if you have to. Keep doing good magic. I'll leave it open for a little while longer and see if he's going to make his way back here or not. There's the link. If you are able to come back. If not, I could keep talking about things. There are a few folks out in the ideas room still. So until I see the StreamYard isn't letting me back in. Isn't that weird? Huh. I was hoping you would stay in the show and that I could just try to come back in. Did it bump you? And I'm here still. It booted me. That's weird. Let me check the settings. Guests, banned guests. I have no banned guests on my settings tab. My microphone seems to be working. Is this the same? Make sure it's the same. Is it the same link? Because the link, I don't think they would change the link. That's weird, huh? Interesting. Yep, it kicked me. So it kicked you when I jumped out? Because usually, like, if I leave the chat room, it will keep that open and it will keep you in it. And I was hoping that's what would happen. I could just go out and come back in. So it kicked you when I left, huh? That's really weird. I'm here still. It booted me. Fascinating. Well, what can be done about that? I haven't changed anything on my settings, so I don't know why it would have done that. That's really weird. The internet, sometimes it's finicky, especially due to the fact it kept the panel open, but it kicked both of us. Your audio went out a few minutes before. Oh, I was sad, so I didn't actually get to tell my story. Anyway, I was telling you my story about my Kung Fu adventure Barefoot that you said you had started when you were 10 years old. I said, no, it was like my brother, and I was like 4 or 5 years old for the first karate class I took or whatever. And then in like junior high, we ended up doing a bunch of Japanese arts because we kind of started in the Japanese arts. We did Taekwondo, and we did Kendo, and we did Judo, and we did all of those only for a couple of years before we moved on to Chinese internal martial arts. So when we started doing Chinese internal martial arts, it was more of a passion thing. It was something I really jived with and loved because there were the elements of like magic and qigong and like, burning incense, and like there was more spiritualism and mysticism involved with Chinese martial arts than there was Japanese martial arts. And so just me personally, I did like 10 years of Japanese martial arts. But once I got into Chinese, there was no turning back. Like I just felt like it was so superior. And I don't mean it was superior as a combat art. I meant that it had a superior culture surrounded with it. And that's just from my perspective. I mean, everyone's going to have their own angle on those things. But again, too, like even when I did Kendo later on here in China, I picked up Kendo again because it's something I really enjoyed as a kid. Japanese are so strict and like hard-nosed and insufferable. Like Kendo classes, you have to do everything exactly the way they tell you. It just seems like they lack a lot of personal freedom in their culture. Whereas the Chinese are just like chaos. They don't give a fuck. You can do whatever you want. You can chill out. You can take a break. You can sit down. You could come in drunk. They're just really welcoming and funny. And so it seems like the Chinese martial arts have a more like longevity. I think you'll have greater longevity from them than you would with Japanese ones. Maybe I can. So here's my question to you, Barefoot. Are you interested in coming back on and continuing the chat? Because I can go for about another 30 minutes. So if so, I will reboot the stream and start a new stream. And then you can come back in and we can chat for a little while longer. Or if not, I'll sign off and finish this one off, and we can both wander off into the abodes of the future. What do you think, man? Let me know. Put it in the ideas room. Did you want to? Because I think I would have to probably restart my my StreamYard if it's doing that to you, because that's really weird. I'll wait to see, because you might be way behind on the loop too. Like who knows how long the lag is right now. It's funny too, because like you'll get a lag when you tune into it on YouTube, and you'll get a lag other places. But like once we connect on StreamYard, there isn't a lag. Like maybe just a couple of fractions of a seconds, but we're able to have like a live conversation with each other in real time. Isn't that weird? So like we're having a live conversation in StreamYard, then it's getting like a 4, 5, 6 second lag into YouTube. And then even like when I tune in on the loop, it will never be real time if I'm trying to listen to it real time from YouTube. So that just seems really strange to me. Anyway, yeah, so the numbers are jumping around now. And yeah, I'll tailor off this one because it was meant as an after party for Barefoot country music, and I don't want to make it go too long. I'll just finish by saying, guys, if you want to know more about the 100-day challenge, you can find the whole coursework syllabus at the buymeacoffee.com/Frank Monday. And I really appreciate anybody going over there and leaving a comment and saying hello. And thanks for stopping by, everyone. Really good fun. Good to see you, Barefoot. Have a good night, man. I was enjoying the country music before they black screened you. And I appreciate you bringing everyone over here to chat and say hello. And yeah, until next time, you guys keep doing good magic, and I will see you in the abodes of the future. Ad Astra Prospera. Thank you so much, Mayor. And you have a good evening, afternoon, or morning, wherever you are, whoever you are, and whenever you receive this transmission. Bye for now, guys.